Hello and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I am Reverend Dr. Raymont Anderson. I am the founder and the spiritual director. Now, as you are sitting there joining us, you may have questions, any number of questions, such as, who am I? How did I get here? Spiritually integrated arts means what exactly? What is a teaching center? Well, what is Centers for Spiritual Living? What is that? What does that even mean? Or New Thought, or religious science, or science of mind and spirit? You may have any number of questions about this specific community, about the parent organization, CSL, our philosophy, our teaching, our liberation theology. Any number of questions. Feel free to send an email. We look forward to connecting more and building our virtual community, our global community. And if you haven't connected yet on social media, feel free to do so. This is your invitation now. Also, did you know that all of our Sunday messages are archived on our YouTube channel? You can watch it anytime. Now, questions about anything, such as becoming a member. What does that mean? What does membership entail? And if you live somewhere far and already belong to a spiritual community, can you be a member of more than one? The simple answer is yes, you can. Just like you can shop at more than one grocery store, you can attend or be a member of more than one gym. We are building beloved community. So you can do both. You can be a member of both. You can be involved with both. That's what being in spiritual community means. So we welcome you. We invite you. We are so appreciative that you have found this community and that you have joined us today. We bless you. We love you. We welcome you. Live long and prosper. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of our Sunday message. Love you. Connect with you soon. Blessings. Namaste and greetings. Are you ready to rise up and dance? As we close out the month of November, happy Thanksgiving, happy joyousness of gratitude, all that good stuff, which is why we are in the space of rise up and dance. We can look around us and notice the abundance that we witness in all of nature. It's easy to do that. And yet, how often do we truly look at our own lives within the scope of our own lives, our own consciousness, our own relationships, and witness the magnitude of abundance that is present right there in our very experiences of our own lives? Why is that so difficult? Gratitude offers its own magic and is a key to expanding our life-affirming consciousness of abundance. When we know we can rest or trust in the truth of abundance, life-affirming abundance, and this elicits a profound sense of satisfaction and peace. When we acknowledge the good, remembering what Emma Curtis Hopkins said, my good is my God is my good. When we acknowledge the good that we have and the good that we can give and the good that is incarnating itself as us, then we realize that it is who we are being and what we are being. And then we feel the joyousness rise, the desire and the necessity to then celebrate. And then we all break out and dancing must ensue. Are you ready to rise up and dance? Keeping in mind that we can look at all over the place, anywhere in the world, and we find some form of expressing oneself through movement and dance. That's why there's so many different genres of dance: tap, modern, ballet, hula, etc. There are countless ways that we can dance. So that's not the issue. The question is, or the issue is, are you ready to dance? Whatever that means for you. Are you ready to rise up and celebrate and dance? To move and let the movement of joy be what animates you. Dr. Holmes says, what great joy should accompany everything that we do? An expectancy of love. Love everything, praise everything, recognize all things, believe all things, accept all things. There is a laughter of God. Let's laugh it. There is a song of the universe. Let's sing it. There is a movement, a dance. This is me. Of God, of the universe. Let's dance it. There is a hymn of praise. Let's praise it. There is a joy, a beauty, a deep abiding peace. Let's experience it. Breathe. Because I do want to highlight a few things. Love everything. Praise everything. It is easy to slip into that space of metaphysical malpractice when we think that this means at face value what it says. but we're going to remix it to make sure, or to reduce the likelihood that we will slip into metaphysical malpractice. Because love everything is a call to have life-affirming love, life-affirming praise. And that doesn't mean you look at the horribleness and say, love it. You look at the war and say, well, it is part of God, so praise it. So, remix. What a great joy should accompany everything that we do that is life-affirming, which carries an expectancy, love. Be love in the midst of everything. Be of praise in the midst of everything. Be one who can recognize in the midst of all things, believe in the midst of all things, and accept in the midst of all things. It threw me for a moment, typo. Be one who can recognize in the midst of all things, believe in the midst of all things, accept in the midst of all things, that we are an embodiment of God. Let us rise up in our healing and know there is a laughter of God, so let's laugh it. There is a song of the universe, so let's sing it. There is a dance of the cosmos, let's dance it. There is a hymn of praise, let's praise it. There is a joy, a beauty, a deep abiding peace, so let's experience it. So our invitation is, in the midst of all things, be the very embodiment of the divine so that healing may take place. It does not mean be in this and bypass it and say, well, this is all the will of God, so praise it and be grateful for it. That is not what this is referring to. And if someone else says it is, that's on them. What I am offering is, what this is saying is, horrible things happen. And each of us has the opportunity to be the healing embodiment of God in the midst of it. Is God present in war? Of course. God is all there is. There's no way that God could be absent. Did God cause the war? Well, that would imply that there is an anthropomorphic God that is determining where war will be and why war will be and all these other things. We do not, in this teaching, we do not acknowledge an anthropomorphic God that has a destiny, a will, a fate, a whatever for any of us. So is it the will of God that we should learn something as a result of war? No. Now, we can say, by my own choosing and my own will, I am choosing to look for a lesson in the midst of this thing. Yeah, that's fine. And that, to a degree, yes, that is the will of God as your will. That is choosing this. But there is no anthropomorphic outside of you God that desires or needs you or any of us to learn something in the midst of a tragedy. So once again, our invitation is, in the midst of this, what does it mean to offer praise? It means to understand that you can bring love and support, connection, collaboration. You can be a unifying force that, one, rebuilds, revitalizes, reforms, restructures, rebuilds, and then transform things in the system in such a powerful way that war becomes extinct. That's the invitation and the challenge, the exercise we are being offered to step into with what we just read from Dr. Holmes and the remix. What are you invited to do? What is yours to do as it pertains to the unhoused, the rate of suicide by veterans or teens, the amount of LGBTQ youth who are bullied? What is yours to do to help transform and heal consciousness and behavior and mental equivalence to such a degree? What is yours to do? How do you bring love and praise and gratitude and joy to all of these things? Breathe. Dr. Holmes says we should come then to this great reservoir of nature, to this infinite side of ourselves in full and simple trust, in confidence and faith. And taking those small gifts of our own lives, which seem so limited, so slight, and so inconsequential, bless them with a steadfastness which has faith, which has behind it faith in the faith in the invisible, a conviction that we are spiritual entities in a spiritual system. This is to discover that the secret of life within each is a divine creativeness. So last week we talked about trust, trust in the universe, trust in ourselves, mistrust, distrust. Now, Dr. Holmes says here to have a simple trust, childlike faith from last week, confidence. Okay. So what's our invitation? How do we have faith in the invisible? Well, we already do. With the naked eye, we can't see germs and viruses, but we already have faith, which is why during COVID we wore masks, stood 6 feet apart. That's why we cover our nose and our mouth when we sneeze or cough, because we know that germs, that's why we use hand sanitizer, because we know that germs, these invisible things, we understand that matter is made up of molecules, and that if it's the molecules are far apart and moving fast, it's a gas. Closer together, a little bit slower, liquid. Really close and moving really slow, a solid. We don't see these things with the naked eye, but we know they're there based upon science and what we have learned. And we trust that. So we already have faith in the invisible. Question is, what are we using our faith in the invisible to do? Are we expressing this conviction that we are spiritual entities? There is only that which God is and what it is we are. This is why I always change the phrase, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience or a human experience or any number of, we are spiritual beings having a spiritual experience that we call human, but it's still spiritual. Everything is spirit. All form, spirit. All thought, spirit. All emotion, spirit. All of it. Speaking of emotions, you don't see love, you don't see sadness, you feel it, but it's invisible in terms of, let's see, oh, wait, there it is. This is sadness. You don't see it, you feel it, you experience it. So once again, we already have faith in the invisible. Are we ready to understand that what we are, spiritual entities, spiritual system, that we are the embodiment of, we are the incarnation of, and then from that space, that position, what do we do? knowing that we are tuned in and tapped into an infinite reservoir of. Generally, reservoir, a place where anything is collected or accumulated in great amount. Anywhere that, oh, so whenever you hear me reference, I drink from my saucer because my cup runneth over, the cup is a reservoir that is overflowing, and it is from the overflow that I drink, well, what is that reservoir? God, source, spirit, the universe. And we understand when we talk about the practicality of, well, how do we, oh, water source, reservoir, oh, treatment plant, oh, community, oh, my faucet, my cup. We understand that there is a process of moving the water through from the reservoir through a system to our homes. We understand that showers, toilets, sinks, all that stuff. We understand it when it comes to that. But what about, using the same analogy, a spiritual treatment? The steps of source, God, which, be clear that everything on the graphic is God. So the treatment plant, spiritual practices and spiritual education, which give us the awareness, understanding, and application of divinity. Then it moves through and it gets into filtration and all that stuff. We filter the new mental equivalents, where we now discern, disinfect, deconstruct, and determine what proceeds and what needs to be stopped so that it does not continue into our homes, community, into our families, our relationships, and into our lives. It's the same process. So if we can overlay and recognize the steps, and work our way back. Okay, so water goes from okay, so how do I improve my life? Trace it back to infinite source. So what is it that we want to experience in our lives individually or collectively? How do we move it from infinite source, the invisible, into lived experience, the material? That's the invitation. That's the ask. That's the seek. Ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you. That's what we're being invited to do. You want a world that works for all? Trace it back. Start with the end in mind. What is it that I desire to experience in my life individually and collectively in my experience? Now, how do I expand this back into infinite source as ideas, as imagination, as whatever it is, connections, resources? How do I tap into this? Dr. Holmes says, rejoice in the majestic power of the divine presence within you and around you. And as you can expect, yes, remix. Rejoice and celebrate because the majestic power of the divine presence is within you, all around you, and is the same divine presence that is you as you right now. So it's not just in you, it's not just around you, it's actually what you are. You are the reservoir. You are the reservoir, just in a smaller form, quote unquote. The main reservoir, an additional reservoir, a more personalized version of the reservoir. So we could think of, how the water goes from the main reservoir, like in the photo a couple back, there was a reservoir from Central Park in New York City, and in Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, in Highland Park Reservoir, huge reservoir to smaller water tanks, from smaller water tanks to the water tank in your home or your building, your apartment. So from to, right? So as above, as in the absolute, as in the infinite, so too in the finite. Judge me by my size, do you? As well you should not, for I am that which is, and powerful in my individual expression I am. For what is true of it is true of me, and there is no space between I and it, for I am it, right here and right now. Breathe. So when you feel that, what comes up? A reason to celebrate or a reason to recede and like, ooh, but that's too much. I'm, I'm, I don't know how. You what? Wait. Well, I gotta take this in. What did you just say? Because oftentimes, realizing how powerful you are and how magnificent you are and how beautiful you are and how divine you are scares a lot of us. And it scares us into playing small. It scares us into not playing at all. It scares us into procrastination and apathy. It scares us into all manner of things rather than to celebrate, rather than rising up and dancing in celebration because we understand and we recognize who and what we are. So let the first step to celebrating give thanks. Give thanks. As Dr. Holmes says, I will give thanks to my inner life for all its marvelous wonders and for all its wonderful works. I will sing and be glad, for I know that I am hidden with truth in a perfect life. Yep, you guessed it. You starting to catch on now, right? That many of these, at some point or another, there's going to be a remix. So I am living thanks. What did he say? I will give thanks. And I am saying, let's live it. I am living thanks because my inner life, in all its marvelous wonders, expresses and manifests outwardly in amazing and wonderful works. I am singing and am glad because I know. I am singing and I am glad. I am celebrating because I know that I am the embodiment of divine truth, expressing itself as a whole, perfect, and complete life. No matter the grief, sadness, frustration, loneliness, anxiety, bank account numbers, weight on a scale, no matter any of that, I know that I am the embodiment of divine truth, expressing itself as a whole, perfect, and complete life. Be grateful for that awareness. Don't simply say thank you, which is fine. There is a place to say it. But as the Triquetra offers or invites us, this is a three-prong kind of connected way of looking this. So thank you, gratitude, saying it, expressing it, and living it. Now, just for the sake of breaking down the symbol, because this may not be a symbol you're familiar with, but the symbol of the triquetra translates as to three-cornered. It is also known as the Trinity knot and has been interpreted in many ways to represent many things, such as the three stages of life, the three elements of nature, and the Holy Trinity. It is often used in Celtic art and jewelry, and was believed and is still believed by many to offer good luck and protection. Other meanings and other representations include mind, body, and soul, the past, the present, and future, creation, preservation, and destruction. Breathe. So once again, the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, three as one, which is why three, but then they're joined by a circle, three as one. So in your thank you, in your gratitude, in your gratefulness, your appreciation, in all of that, saying it, expressing it, living it, and remember what Dr. Holmes said in Sermon by the Sea regarding religious science, science of mind and spirit. Show me 1,000 people who know what it is. That means they can say it. They practice it. They're expressing their knowledge of it and are living it as a way of life. And I will see a world that works for all, in essence, is what he said. So when we understand the three as one, we're actually stepping into a space where it's not even a circle that's connecting us or connecting them as one. It is now the energy of the divine itself. It is love itself, because now we are being gratitude. We are being thankfulness, appreciation. And when we are being it, let's really get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. When you are being it, when someone is in your presence, they may not understand it, they may not be able to express it, but they simply feel grateful. They simply feel joy because of what you are being. Have you ever been in someone's presence and just by being with them, you felt safe? They didn't do anything. They're not carrying anything. They don't have a samurai sword strapped on their back. They're just sitting there eating pizza with you. But you feel safe because of the power, the presence that they are being and exuding. So what happens when we are being gratitude and joy and celebration? It affords other people in our presence to feel the same and to be the same. So, when was the last time you had either your dog, a family member's dog, somebody's dog, any dog, I don't care what the dog is, other than Scooby-Doo or an animated, other than, I mean, a real live dog? When was the last time they actually said thank you to you for that treat, or thank you for the belly rub, or thank you for the butt scritches? They don't say thank you. They show it. They express it. Many dog experts say you can tell a dog is happy and grateful if they display any of these behaviors: loose posture, raised head, open mouth like a soft smile. They do zoomies. When they lay down on or around you. Wriggly body, dancing toes or paws rather, especially when they are looking at you, etc. They show it. They express it because they are embodying it. And by what they are being, it affects us. It makes us smile. It makes us feel good. We laugh. And if you remember from last week, that smile, miracle. That laughter, miracle. This is a divine demonstration of what it means to be the very embodiment of God. It's no accident that God, spelled backwards, is dog. Wink, wink. Just saying. Pam Grout says, if you devote yourself to scouting blessings, you'll find them out the wazoo. So what is she saying? She's saying that you have the opportunity to look for what you desire to experience. Note that what you are looking for is what you are looking with. As you live your life, what do you tend to be on the lookout for? You tend to be on the lookout for people to mistrust or distrust, reasons to hide. What do you tend to be on the lookout for? Because you have the opportunity to be on the lookout for curses or blessings. And keep in mind that what you are looking for is what you are looking with. In other words, if I'm looking for tragedies, if I'm looking for all of the reasons to self-fulfilling prophecy, the bad things in life. See, I told you that there are bad people in the world. Look at all, and I'm looking for that. Then I'm looking with it because it means I am looking from a consciousness, from a mental equivalent that is more convicted to that than that. So I can be in a space of deep depression and fear, and from that space, still look for reasons to have hope and healing and blessings and joy. Even in the midst of this, I can feel that, find it, seek it, look for it, ask for it. But if I'm not, because I don't believe, then I'm stuck in the space of what we're going to call, for the time being at least, curses. I'm looking for all the reasons to support my belief, my conviction in all the bad things in my life or in the world. And Pam Grout goes on to remind us that the problem has never been reluctance on the part of the universe. The problem is in our ability to see the beautiful, loving truth that the universe continually offers. Now, I want us to think about this in a different kind of way. When we think of the universe and that it's continually offering, there's continually offering consciousness, continually offering all of the elements and periodic table and all this other stuff. Like, it's always been in the mix. Before we even knew there was a periodic table, all of those elements existed, basically, in some form or another. So it's not nature withholding. It's not the universe withholding. In the same way that before the automobile was created, back when it was still horse and buggy, was it not already possible to have an automobile? Yes, because everything that created the automobile, it existed then. Humans simply didn't have the knowledge or the awareness to know how to put these things together in order to create, in 1886, the things that eventually became automobile. But all of the things, all of the parts, all of the pieces, all of the elements, all of the stuff existed way back when. Same thing with the thing that we refer to as light or the light bulb or the lamp. Long before, way back when we were lighting homes by the fireplace or campfire or candle, and then lanterns, and then gas lamps and lanterns for like street lights and stuff. And then eventually, 1802, then we have electric light. And now we have light bulbs of all kinds of designs. All of the things that created the light bulbs we use today, all of those things existed back in the era of candles only. Once again, humanity, human beings simply did not have the awareness, the knowledge of how to put these things together. Nature never withheld. There were not secrets that nature was like, it's not like Mount Olympus and Prometheus bringing humans fire from Olympus. Well, we're going to be cold until the gods bring us fire. Oh, there's Prometheus. What is that he's carrying? Oh, it's warm. I like that. You giving this to me? Oh, thank you very much. Oh, it's hot. You did, oh, okay, it's fire. Okay. Nothing in nature is withholding itself, withholding its secrets. The universe is not withholding, saying, humans aren't ready for electricity yet. Let's wait. All of it is available right now. So what does that mean? It means right now we have the means to feed every human being on the planet. Right now we have the means to change global warming and climate change so that we are sustaining. It means we have the ability to create peace on earth and get rid of war. It means we have the ability to house people and eradicate racism and sexism and all of the. Right now we have the capabilities. We can move away from fossil fuels. Right now we have the capabilities. Question is, are we opening ourselves up? Open at the top, open at the bottom. Are we availing our awareness to such a degree that the infinite possibilities, what imagination does, is this not why Einstein said imagination is more important than knowledge? When we open ourselves up, then more and more answers, more and more questions, more and more possible solutions, more and more show up. But are we asking the questions? What is it that we are seeking? I'm reminded of George Washington Carver and how many uses for the peanut did. How is that possible? What if we could take one simple thing, like he took the peanut? What if we could take one simple thing, one simple idea, or one, and from it heal the world, heal ourselves, heal the world, heal the collective? The science of mind and spirit as a liberation theology offers us a reason to celebrate, a reason to feel grateful, a reason to express our gratitude in how we live our lives daily, while also ensuring that we are not simply superficially celebratory based on our own individualistic privilege. This philosophy offers us a practice and a way of being that is ever open at the top and open at the bottom, as metaphysical Imagineers who are consciously tuned in, tapped in, and operating from the truth of our being. And in so doing this, we are creating from infinite possibilities which become probabilities, until finally the amen that is our life demonstrates the inevitabilities of the beloved community, where healing, equity, justice, unity, cooperation, collaboration, compassion, and effective communication are more. They become our default settings. They become the new normal of a life of infinite, divine, life-affirming abundance and celebration and divinity. And it is precisely right there that we create, that we live in a world that works for all. Answered prayer. Breathe. This week's affirmation, our declaration, I will say it first, and if it resonates with you, I invite you to say it out loud with me the second time around. I celebrate and I dance with and as the sheer absolute abundance of life. Together. I celebrate and I dance with and as the sheer absolute abundance of life. And so it is. This week's journal questions or Thursday night discussion group, study group questions. Number 1, in what ways can I embrace more wonder and awe in my life? Number 2, what in life have I been remiss in feeling gratitude for, and I have not celebrated it? I've delayed my gratification or delayed my celebration. I didn't feel worthy of being grateful for it. I didn't feel worthy of celebrating it. In comparison to other spiritual practices, where would I rank the importance of gratitude? Why would I rank it there? Which ways do I offer my gratitude to others? And think back to the triquetra and the 3 prongs and the heart connecting as a way of being. Just think about that. Number 4, what could I do each week as a form of celebration? What could I do each day as a form of celebration? Number 5, like each invention that we talked about, or each invention in general, the means for it were available before it was manifested. How am I invited to contribute to the invention of world peace, harmony, generosity, service, the healing of the ills of society? Number 6, I count the following 10 things as blessings in my life, and then list the 10. And then lastly, what is my evidence that I have access to the infinite reservoir? In other words, God. What is the evidence that I have that proves I have access to the infinite? And breathe. As we go into that space of prayer, recognizing the isness and allness of creation itself is living, moving, and having its beingness in, through, and as everyone right now. And that because this infinite power and this infinite presence is the all that is, anything that we desire to experience, world peace, physical healing, emotional healing, financial sustenance and overflow, whatever it is that we are desiring to experience, the moment we have the thought clarified and crystallized in our mind, it is already in the mind that is God. And so our work then becomes, once I have placed my attention, my mental equivalent, on whatever this desired thing is, what is mine to do to be a contributing factor in its manifestation? I need not rely upon an anthropomorphic God to grant my wishes and desires. God is not a genie for me to make wishes from or on. But God is an infinite power that is moving in, through, and as me. So I have the means to bring about, in the same way that this individual brought about the automobile, and this individual brought about the light bulb, and this individual brought about electricity, and the phonograph, and the MP3, space travel, solar energy, peace on earth, goodwill to all, a world that works for all, healing within my body, my mind, my soul, reconciliation within my family, forgiveness, whatever it is, I right now, right here, have the means, the infinite inflow of the infinite reservoir of the divine. I cannot be, and what is true of me is true of all who are listening and watching, I cannot be separated from. I can, for whatever reason, turn the tap off, turn the master switch so that the water does not flow into the house. In the same way that when the plumbers were here to do renovations, they turned the water to the house off so that they could fix the toilet and the shower and the faucets. But the connection is still there because they did their work and then they turned it back on. In other words, they opened the flow of it again, but it's already there. And so I can get to a space where, I ignore or I turn it down, but I cannot separate myself from it. What it is, I am. What it is, each of us is. And so in this moment, we are invited in this prayer, this word of truth, to allow ourselves to enter into a space of gratitude, recognizing the truth of our being, of choosing to rise up and celebrate something about our lives, something about our relationships. Celebrate the awareness that that which God is right where each of us is, as us. Breathe, knowing that the law says yes. The law is yes, because it doesn't just say it. The law is, we use the linguistic convenience of saying, but the law is the infinite yes. And so knowing that, then I know that this word, this message, this invitation is already answered prayer. It's already done. We are already living embodiments of our amen. We have asked and we receive. We have sought and we have found. We have knocked and the infinite has opened forever at the top and at the bottom. We are abundance made flesh, and we dance. And so it is. And so it is. Namaste and blessings, much love and appreciation. I'm pretty sure that today we are not going to have after message fellowship, but do not quote me on that. Check the chat box to make sure. And if you are available and we are actually doing it, then I will see you in Zoom. And if not, then I will see you somewhere during the week. Otherwise, right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Blessings.